Hey folks, as you can imagine, the title of this video is one of the most frequently asked questions ever. 8 years since I've been doing this. How to get rid of my eczema fast. People want results now. If you've ever had any skin condition, I know I felt that way. You just want it gone. You don't want these people coming up to you and saying, you've got to detoxify your body. You've got to rebuild your body over years. You've got to get your nutrition on track and figure out the underlying causes. You don't want to hear any of that stuff. You just want people to give you hope and support. And so I'm going to try and do that a little bit in this video because, you know, I know some of the stuff I make is a little bit pessimistic, people might say. I prefer to think of it as realistic. You know, I've worked with enough people to know what needs to take place in somebody's life in order for them to get true long-term results on an eczema healing pathway. But with that being said, you know, steroids are obviously the number one thing that people go to for fast relief. They're used the world over by doctors, dermatologists in loads of different countries. They're even sneaked into different products because people know that people are trying to avoid steroids, and so they sneak them in. You know, there's been cases of like Chinese herbal medicine situations there where steroids have found their way in. And the reason why people sneak this stuff in is because they do work. They do work. And if you want fast, short-term relief, then nothing is going to come close to steroids. Nothing. Nothing of a natural or pharmaceutical format. Steroids are going to be the go-to if you really, really just have to get the stuff off your face or off your skin right now. But I don't think there should ever be any situation where that is the case, because if you are committed to the long-term approach, then you won't be thinking in that way anymore. You'll be thinking about every day, every meal being a step towards the skin that you want in the future. You'll be playing and be committed to this long-term approach. These steroids I'm talking about here, by the way, they are not the anabolic steroids that you get in gyms and stuff. They are there for putting on mass and growth and all that sort of stuff. Corticosteroids are the stuff that we're talking about here, and they create an artificial cortisol response in the body, and they also work to suppress the immune system. That is how they do their job. That's how they reduce inflammation. Steroids will work to get rid of the eczema and inflammation that's on your skin right now, but they won't do anything to address the underlying root cause. They appear to get rid of what's going on, but notice how I called this post how to get rid of eczema fast, not how to heal eczema fast. There is a big difference, and the steroids will do nothing to address the underlying root causes as to why your skin is doing this in the first place. In effect, they turn the fire alarm off, but they don't put the fire out. I spend a lot of my time, way too much of my time in fact, working with people going through TSW, topical steroid withdrawal, which is just like any other withdrawal process where the body has used or become dependent, slightly dependent on a heavy toxic or pharmaceutical drug, you know, like steroids or like, you know, alcohol or other types of drugs, cigarettes, whatever else. And the symptoms of which can be worse than having the eczema in the first place. So these people, they wish they just had the eczema again rather than this double whammy detoxification chaos that's going on when they go through TSW. Other side effects of using these steroids can be things like glaucoma, osteoporosis I've heard of, high blood pressure, definitely thinning of the skin, and a bunch of other things besides. And so, you know, they're really best avoided if you possibly can. Anyway, enough ranting on about steroids. What can you actually do naturally that's going to further your healing as quickly as possible? And all of these things I recommend including in as part of your overall natural healing protocol. And the first one of those is to do an enema. So this is the process of using a home enema kit to introduce water into the lower intestine, or coffee or other substances that people use into the lower intestine to cleanse out the bowel, to remove any toxic matter that is still sitting around in there. Remember, your lower intestine is very convoluted. It's got lots of little nooks and crannies where toxic debris can hide away and not get removed as part of your usual elimination process. And so an enema can get in there and remove this stuff. And the reason why this can work quickly is because some people have this stuff that's sat there and it's just going around in a cycle. It's being purged by the body, but it's not being eliminated. So we use detoxifiers, perhaps we use binders and other things, and so stuff gets purged out from the cells into the intestine, into the bowel, but then it's never removed. And so when you use an enema, it can help just to flush that stuff away, and it can provide an amazing level of relief depending on, you know, how much toxic debris you've got sitting around in there. Another thing you can do to help you get results in the short term is to use a sauna. And when you get in a sauna, because of the high humidity, it encourages the internal moisturization in your body. It kind of draws moisture out to the outer epidermis. And this can be particularly helpful if your style of eczema is kind of dry and scaly. You might feel like your hydration is on point and you're drinking loads of water, but then you feel like you're just weeing all of that water away and it's not really getting into your body. It doesn't really seem to be working to hydrate you properly. And if you feel this way, then using a sauna can help to make sure that water is put to good use. But do be reminded, if you are doing any sort of intense sweat session, stay on top of your electrolytes. So use electrolyte tablets, or just, you know, include a little bit more salt than you normally would in your diet. Another idea for you to get some short-term relief is to have a day of eating only raw foods. Now, raw food is very easy to digest. It generally, particularly if it's organic, has all of the enzymes still intact in the food, and so eating this type of food really takes a lot of strain away from the digestive system. Digestion consumes around 30% of our energy every day. So if we eat easy to digest foods, and this doesn't have to be forever, I'm just talking short-term stuff here. If you clean up your diet just for one day and eat super simply, just have a fruit-based day, for example, or just eat one food all day, like eat bananas all day, or eat oranges all day, or eat watermelon all day, and just see how your body responds to that, see how your digestion responds to that. It can have a very cleansing effect on your body, kind of similar to the enema thing that we were talking about, in that it just simplifies digestion and it can promote cleaning, cleansing naturally in the body. If your body sees that it has extra energy to play with, it's likely to put that extra energy to good use, increase vitality, and help the cleansing and healing processes that are going on. Do be warned though, if you clean up in this sort of way, eat raw or eat fruit-based, even if it's only for a day, it could promote some detoxification symptoms. So there is a chance that it could actually have the opposite effect to what you're hoping for, because of all this extra vitality and your body seeing that as a cleansing opportunity. So while it can feel quite demoralizing that there's nothing out there that's going to ever approach the power of steroids, all of this stuff that I've been talking about in this video, you can implement as part of your overall healing protocol. They can become part of you, and you are going to feel better as a result of taking this route. Because, you know, you feel down and depressed right now. You just don't feel like you've got a ton of life. And you might think you feel that way because of what your skin's doing. You might feel, I'm lacking vitality because my skin looks this way. But if my skin was better, I would feel better. But actually that's not the case. And you ask people that have used steroids to fix their skin, they end up not feeling great in themselves. They end up feeling like, yeah, my skin's looking better, but I don't feel vital. I just don't feel like I've got that energy. I don't feel like I've got my mojo back. And I certainly felt that way when I went down that route. And so it's just this merry-go-round when you get on steroids. It's just a cleanse, purge, binge. It's not a good headspace to be in, and ultimately it doesn't lead to vitality. It doesn't lead to optimal mental health or physical health. And so I recommend that you take the advice that I've given you, those 3 tips that I gave you in this video, and build those in as part of your overall natural healing approach. And let me know if you need help doing this.